Hello everyone, it's Mr. Kissinger at the Citizenship Academy in Syracuse, New York, and this is 5th grade math module 6, lesson 6. Today we're going to be continuing to investigate patterns in vertical and horizontal lines and interpret points on the plane as distances from the axes. So if we look at this first page, there's a lot of stuff on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of place my paper like this so that we're just focusing on the first thing that we need to do. So it says plot and label the following points on the coordinate plane. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label my x and y axes so we know where those are. And I want to look at our intervals here. We have 0.5 and we have 1. So I'm going to guess each one of these is probably going to be a tenth. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So 5 tenths here. So each one of these 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, and 5 tenths. And if we look at our point C that we need to plot, point C is 0.4, 0.4. So I'll find 0.4 on my x-axis, follow it right along, and I'm going to come up this line until I get to 0.4 on my y-axis, which is right here just below 0.5. So this point right here, we're going to label point C. Next we have 1.1, 0.4. So point A is going to be 1.1, which is all the way over here. We have 1 and then another tenth, and then 0.4, 4 tenths. So that's going to be right here on the same y value as C. This will be point A. Next we have point S, which is going to be 0.9 and 0.5. So we have 0.9, which is right before 1, and 0.5 right here, which is labeled. This is going to be point S. And then T is also 0.9, but it's going to be all the way up here at 1.1. That'll give us point T right here. All right, so letter A is going to ask us to use a straight edge to construct line segments CA and ST. So we're going to connect these, but we're not going to make a full line here. We're just going to make it's just going to be a line segment. So we're going to connect these 2 points. Connect T and S. All right, we have 2 line segments here. Let's name the line segment that is perpendicular to the x-axis and parallel to the y-axis. So we're looking for one that's parallel to the y-axis. Well, this one's parallel to the y-axis, and it's also perpendicular to our x-axis. So this would be line segment ST. We have a little line above there for line segment. That says, name the line segment that is parallel to the x-axis and perpendicular to the y-axis. I'm guessing that's going to be our other one here. Parallel to the x-axis and perpendicular to the y-axis. If it came all the way over here, it would make a 90-degree angle. And that one's line segment CA. And D says plot a point on CA and name it E. So let's just choose this one right here. This will be E. And then plot a point on line segment ST and name it R. And we'll do this one right here. We'll name this one R. Write the coordinates for points E and R. Well, let's look at E first. We have 0.5 or 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. And then E is going to be 4 tenths. So we have 7 tenths And we'll put the 0 in there too. All right, 7/10, 4/10. And then point R is going to be 9/10. And we start down here, 5, 6, 7, 8/10. So 9/10, 8/10. All right, let's move on to our next page here. This looks like we're going to do something somewhat similar. Let's label our axes first. So we have our X axis and our Y axis. It says construct line M such that the Y coordinate of every point is 1.5. So I'm going to stop right there. It says to construct a line N as well, but let's do this line M first. So every Y coordinate, or the Y coordinate of every point is going to be 1.5. So we'll look at our Y, and it looks like these are every half. So we have a half, 1, 1.5, 2. We're looking for 1.5 right here. And this line M is going to go right along this because our Y coordinate is going to be the same for every point. We'll label this M. All right. And then we need to do a line N. And it says such that the X coordinate of every point is 5.5. So the X coordinate is 5.5. Way over here. So a line there. And this is going to be line N. I used cursive M and cursive N to name those lines. Line M is blank units from the x-axis. We have our x-axis here. 1, 2, 3. Well, those are halves. So we have a half, 1, and 1.5. 1.5 units from the x-axis. Give the coordinates of the point on line M that is 2 units from the y-axis. Well, if we have line M and it's 2 units from the y-axis, well, here's 2. So it'll be 2, 1.5. With a blue pencil, shade the portion of the grid that is less than 1.5 units from the x-axis. Alright, so I don't have a blue pencil, but I have a blue pen, so I'll use that. And I'm going to shade this area down here that's less. I'm going to shade it with some diagonal lines here. Line N is blank units from the y-axis. So we have 5, 5.5. So it's going to be 5.5 units. Give the coordinates of a point on line N that is 3.5 units from the x-axis. So we have 3.5 from the x-axis. We have, well, here's 3 and then another half. And that would be 5.5, 3.5. Now it says with a red pencil, shade the portion of the grid that is less than 5.5 units from the y-axis. So again, I have a red pen here, so that'll work. We're going to shade this whole area here. And I'm just going to do some diagonal lines like I did with the blue pen here. I'm going to get everything that's less than 5.5. Pretty big portion. All right. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing all of you next time.